Hey, and welcome to the QB Show, starring Woody Adams, Don Brolin, and myself, Stacy Kildal. We'd like you to take a minute to visit our sponsors. Our show is brought to you by the following. Avalara.com, an amazing sales tax engine to help you make sales tax less taxing. Exact Online, an online inventory solution specializing in manufacturing and distribution. Tsheets.com, an amazing time tracking solution. Skyline from UnidataIT.com, QuickBooks and software hosting. And Zencash.com to help manage your accounts receivables. We hope you enjoy the show. Here we go.
All right.
We're
Excellent.
live.
Yes. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the QB Show, the QuickBooks Show, formerly Radio Free QuickBooks. And thanks for watching or tonight or throughout the week. Happy to have you on board. Tonight's a very exciting show. It's going to be the QBO versus desktop battle. I'll be one of your hosts for this evening, Woody Adams. I'm a product specialist with Intuit. Anything that I might say might not really reflect or represent similar things that Intuit might say. I used to know that blurb really well, but I forgot it. It's a legal jargon, I have to say. But pretty much I think that's still the legal gist, is anything that I could say doesn't necessarily reflect the opinion statements or views of Intuit. Though they might say it too, but I can't say that.
Right.
And Intuit's not affiliated with the show. And of course, on with me tonight, Stacy Kildal and Don Brolin. And Stacy's actually out at the headquarters in Mountain View, California at Intuit. Stacy, how's it going there?
It's going very well. I flew in today, and I have meetings tomorrow with, I'm going to meet with Alex Chris at Intuit about the QB licenses stuff that they have going on, which is kind of a neat thing that they just launched. And then I meet with the QBO mobile team after that with Shane Handy and his team. And then I spend the reason why I'm out here is because I spend the bulk of the day with the QuickBooks Online development team and the Lettuce app developers, because Intuit just bought Lettuce, which is an inventory add-on, and one that I like. I just did the review for the App Center a couple weeks ago, and we're going to be doing kind of a deep dive into it, no pun intended, into the product before they start integrating it into the product. And that's what I'm doing. Dawn, what's up with you?
Yes. Don, all the way from Connecticut.
Just doing IRS stuff, man. That's what
Still?
I'm doing. Yeah. Was on the phone with them again today. Got another client with an audit notice for a C Corp that wasn't even formed until August of '09, and it's an audit for '07, so that'll be fun. I don't even know. So that'll be good.
Do they have you on speed dial? The IRS, I mean?
Well, Kayla actually asked me, she's like, Mom, so when you call and you say you're Don Brolin, are they like, oh, hey, what's up? I'm like, no. It doesn't happen like that. I mean, a few agents I'm getting to know really well in Connecticut, but too funny. Kid's
That's
funny. Yeah, so, yeah, they don't know me so well. I don't want to know them.
Right, and you have we both have some vacation coming up. Both of us will be off, I think, the same week. Next week, Stacy's going to be on with a surprise guest. We don't know yet. And you're going to be in New York City. I'll be in New Hampshire.
Yes,
nice.
Absolutely. We'll be rocking.
And then we'll be back on the 22nd. So, good stuff. Yeah, I fly out Thursday with the family. Looking forward to it. So, I got one more day of just going into the office. So, pretty cool.
Are you gonna not shave?
Yes, I decided that Nick gave me a thumbs up. What I'm going to do is, even though I don't have the ability to really have a gruff beard, my goal is to just not shave the whole vacation, and then see if I can actually grow one or not. And then if not, I'll let Nick decide if it's going to work out or not.
You have to, don't you shave it for the show on the 22nd.
Yeah, I'll keep it for the 22nd.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let my hair grow out. I'm just going to kind of go all unkempt. I'm just going to let it go.
And the tank top. Are you going to wear the tank top on the 22nd? Are you going to be
all right, if you want. Sure.
Yeah.
That's fine. And I'm just gonna let it. I'm gonna let it all go, but I mean, I'm gonna let it go for a couple of years. I'm just gonna let it all go. Just see where it leads.
You're gonna be Forrest Gump. Eventually.
When he's running, except I can't run because my knees are shot. But I'm gonna, kind of go for the Forrest Gump look,
Nice.
So that should be fun. But enough about me, and things are going well. It's getting really hot. We're almost in the 100 degrees, so it'll be nice being out in the Northeast, which are in the low 80s at the high point. So it's great to be out of the swelter for a little while. You guys have, before we get into our kind of a discussion / debate, civil debate.
It's going to be a very civil debate.
QuickBooks Desktop versus QuickBooks Online. I know some people are looking forward to that and seeing how that goes. I'm looking forward to it as well. Do you guys have anything QuickBooks related that you wanted to share that is of interest?
I have nothing to share that's of any interest at all.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
I mean, nothing like outside of normal.
All right. So we're just rolling along and doing stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So I wasn't sure. Oh, sponsors, right?
Oh, wait. We already have Beth Damus is in the chat, and Shelly Robbins is in the chat, and Eileen Sass are all in the chat. And Shelly is asking if you're going to grow some dreads too. If you're gonna...
No, I don't have that kind of hair.
Okay.
It's actually very thin. I'm very thin everywhere, and
you're gonna be puffy in the front, bud. You got some.
I did. Yep.
Come over like this.
It's all spiked today for no apparent reason. Humidity, maybe humidity. But I kind of like it. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let myself go, and we'll see where it leads me.
All right, right on.
I'll probably still be able to do QuickBooks stuff.
I'm pretty sure that your hair has no effect. I mean, I can speak from personal experience when I say that your hair, whatever anybody's hair, it has no effect on how you do your job, which is why I don't really understand why people work places and they're like, yo.
Well, I mean, I think if you're working for a firm and you're going into the office, I know when I used to present and visit firms, they're looking all, together and.
But they don't have to. Let's be honest.
They're cropped and very. They've kept themselves up well.
That's what we're doing.
I know.
I didn't prepare for this. I prepared.
I will say though, I have one more thing though. I have developed an outfit I'm wearing almost daily now because of all the conferences and these black Into a QuickBooks shirts. I'm wearing this and a pair of jeans, and that's my standard outfit, like every day at work.
Love it.
Just makes
sense.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good T-shirts. All right, so I'm not sure now, Stacy. Do we talk about sponsors quickly, or is that in the intro and extra? I'm trying to remember.
Their logos are in the videos that we play. Like, because for those of you who are new listeners, what we do is we do the live show, and then once the live show is done, what I do is I go onto YouTube and I edit and I add our intro video, and we have an exit video, and it has all of our sponsor stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong. We can mention our sponsors because we love them so much.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Okay. So we currently have 5, and we'd like to thank them for sponsoring the show. I'll start with Zencash, of course. Helps you manage your AR, even collections, notes, thank you notes, things like that. Zencash.com hooks up, and all these hook up with desktop and QBO. Unidata, of course, is a platform in itself. UnidataIT.com, Microsoft QuickBooks Office hosting. Exact Online is a manufacturing and a warehouse distribution, scheduling, reporting software. It's web-based, and it does hook up both desktop and QBO. T-Sheets, of course, tsheets.com, online time tracking, clocking in and out, and of course they're at tsheets.com. And then Avalara sales tax, so avalara.com. For those of you scaling new heights, probably remember we had Ian Clyde on stage with us for a little bit, talked about Avatax. I always call it Avatax, but full name Avalara, and they're orange.
Yes.
They do orange things.
They do orange things, and they do them very well.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that.
Not sure though. It's weird. Orange in Seattle. I'm not sure, because Seattle's not orange at all. It's more blue, green, gray, kind of overcast.
Maybe they wanted just to change it up a little bit. It works.
Maybe a little color.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not sure how you guys want to go through this, but we have a cool doc that we've had for a while, and I think Stacy and I built this doc a couple of years ago.
Yep.
You know, it's had its updates and changes, and we've shared it with product development. It's essentially kind of, you know, QuickBooks Online advantages over desktop, and then desktop advantages over QBO. In other words, features that we're used to in the desktop that are not in QuickBooks Online anywhere. And I'm not talking about with a third-party app or something. We're going to pretend out of the box, you're paying for QBO, you're paying for QuickBooks Pro or Premier. It's really not fair to really compare Enterprise, I think, to QBO. I don't think that argument would make a whole lot of sense at this point. But Pro and Premier versus just say QuickBooks Online Plus and without apps, because not all your clients are going to want to pay $20 to $50 a month for an app. So that's what I was thinking.
My point is not all of my clients. My point to that is not all of my clients have 10 to 15 grand to dish out for enterprise solutions plus the implementation. True. So between the software and the implementation and the training and all that stuff, not a lot of them have that. And then if they need to have access in multiple locations, we're looking at hosting, and if they have 5, 10 people, they're looking at close to $400 a month if they need 10 people to have access. Yeah. So I'm just saying you can't exclude enterprise, I don't think, because...
But I think we were saying that no apps. We were saying the QBO...
Oh, yeah. You know, I like the fact that apps are...
I don't think that we could have the conversation without talking about apps, because it's really part of the whole... I mean, I think of them sort of as one and the same. I mean, I think of it, when I think of QBO, I think of it as QBO plus the apps, which I'm going to put them on QBO, and then what apps are we going to use for them so that they have a full... Like, I don't really think of it like as an ecosystem. I don't really like that word. I think of it more as like a modular ERP or like a business management system, something like that. So I really think that the App Center...
Modular ERP, that's kind of cool. That makes sense. You could equate it to, say, what some other systems that are ERP, you have to pay for the extra apps. These extra modules are, quote-unquote, part of QBO, even though we didn't create them. I get it. So you want to... So the ground rules should be apps are included because it's actually a tab in QBO. Enterprise versus QBO Plus is fair game. And then, you know, Pro Premier Enterprise versus QBO. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Is that agreeable?
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, because Don's looking at. All right. So let's do like a QBO versus desktop and then a desktop versus QBO. Now, Don, would you like to start with desktop versus QBO, and then Stacy can counter or add a QBO versus desktop?
Well, I won't go through all of them because that would take...
No. Just pick one that you know or you like or you're missing out on or whatever, right?
Okay. So I have a little list that I made. Where is it? I got my air conditioner on, so I would say the biggest. Let's go with the biggest to the smallest.
Good.
For me, the biggest challenge, or the biggest reason why I am still in the desktop in a hosting solution is labor costing, not job costing. The simplicity, the simplicity of labor costing in QuickBooks Desktop, with the ability to do payroll within the desktop. With assisted payroll, I'm not going to encourage enhanced or basic or anything. I would say that's probably the biggest and most important, to me, difference.
For your client base, and by labor costing, you mean just being able to assign a job to a paycheck?
To do job costing with paychecks where there's no journal entries and the whole, you know, all of that. And again, these are for what I would consider larger clients.
Right.
And I will say fair enough. I will say that is a very, very valid point, and it's one of those, and it's one of the things where when a client comes to me and they want to move to QBO, the first thing I ask them is whether they have any labor costing, and if they have labor costing, then I tell them we're going to need to stick right now at this point in time. My recommendation, although while I'm out here, I'm doing like 4 new app reviews this week. And one of them is CoreCon, which is an app for contractors. So I want to see how it does that. It may or may not solve that problem.
Well, you'll find out, and you'll let us.
I have no idea. I haven't even started it. So that's the thing. Is, you know, that's the one, like that, and if they have customized templates and they have to have really intricately customized templates, those are kind of the two where I say, no, we're going to need to stick with desktop. We're not going to be able to go QBO.
So, okay.
Good. So you guys actually agree there. Dawn, do you think there's any clients where just doing a journal entry after the fact would be acceptable for you?
If they have one employee and they're able to get the job costing, you know, I mean, honestly, I don't want people.
That's funny.
Take your eye out. Take it out. Wait a minute. I got a piercing.
No, don't. Yeah. You're going to hurt yourself.
But,
no, I want you to answer as if you're, you know, this is your client and you want to make it as easy as possible for you, what platform you're going to choose. That should be the...
Yeah, and so that, if there's any, which is interesting because it's not, and regardless if it's contractors or not contractors, they could, if they weren't a contractor, potentially this app that Stacy's talking about could do not just the traditional contractor, which is a construction person, you know, electrical, plumbing. But aside from that, those aren't the only people who should be labor costing, and that's one of my big concerns. I think that a service industry where there's a significant contract-based job or whatever it is, and you have multiple employees on that job, it's not only about the contractors, and the app may be discounting itself by declaring it only for contractors, because maybe there are other business owners that could use it. And maybe that's not what the deal is, but it's just that's the big one. Obviously, the templates Stacy was right on about, and for me it's not even intricate templates. It's any customizing that is beyond the basics. Like the logo can only be 1 inch big. It can only be in the one spot. Like those kind of things, which aren't a big deal to most people, which is why there are times that I recommend QBO for people who don't care about that. You know, that's not, for everyone, that's not the important thing. But for people who have been using QuickBooks Desktop and they're used to having a template, when they go, because of the other advantages that QBO does have, when they want to switch to QBO, and their templates are gone because they haven't asked anybody about it, or whatever the case is, it can be very detrimental to them if that's important, which image is important, so we're not going to discount that, but that's definitely one of them. But I'm going to let Stacy go.
Yeah, Stacy's turn. QBO, a cool advantage about QBO, Stacy, that you prefer over desktop.
So I'm going to say the online banking kicks desktop's ass all over the place. I mean, without doubt, it blows it out of the water. It is amazing. It's very intuitive. It's really easy. It learns a lot faster. And I used to love the desktop online banking. Either one. Remember when in 2009 when they changed it and everybody freaked out, right? And with the new
side view versus the register mode,
Yeah, the side by side. I liked both of them. They both worked well. I mean, they were really easy to use. It was just a matter of which one worked better for you. But I'm telling you, when they fixed online banking a couple years ago in QuickBooks Online, I was absolutely blown away. And Dawn even said, and I remember her using it for the first time, and she said the same thing, like, it's just amazing. And I believe the quote back then was, I want to switch all of my clients to this just for the online banking.
That was a lie.
It was.
I got wrapped up in the hype. But then I came back down.
Right, but you said it. You did say it. So I think that is my absolutely favorite one. And then my new favorite one is...
Let's do one at a time.
Okay.
I want to mention something about online banking with 2014 and the newest, where they have a transaction list now, and they've made some changes to make it look a little bit more like QBO. I agree that QBO downloaded transactions is great. I think when there's a lot of transactions, the automatic change to the one account if you pick it for a vendor. But I think overall the downloaded transactions for QBO and the online banking is definitely superior.
Yeah, and then the desktop one doesn't do it automatically. You still gotta
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, it doesn't do it automatically. Yep. But I still think with both, unless I don't do a ton of it, and this would be a question along with a comment, I guess. I guess the question first. Are you able to assign jobs to QBO downloaded transactions online?
Not in that window.
Not in that window, not yet.
And I'm saying you can't with desktop either.
Right.
I think that's a really big thing for both.
Right.
Fine if they go after QBO first. I totally get that.
Yeah.
But people having to download transactions and then go in and edit it up, it's an extra step that's not necessary. I guess that's my point. But I agree with you.
That's cool. Downloaded transactions. Yeah, that's a good
I
one.
like that one. That's
Now,
one of my favorite ones.
I want to mediate there because Dawn did do a second one, the form customization, because that's really a hot potato out on the forums too. It is true. You can't really create a template from scratch in QBO yet. I believe it'll be there, and sooner than later. But
yeah, I think
I know we're going in that direction. We're not just going to leave it with the 5 templates we kind of created for you.
Yeah.
Stacy, do you have the whole template thing? Between your and Dawn clients, and I'm sure you got Dawn's clients, I'm sure you guys have a different. I mean, clients are the same, but are also very different. It sounds like her client base is a little different from yours. Is form customization a big deal? Do you want to answer that or retort?
You know what? It has been in the past. It has been somewhat of an issue a couple times where they have needed, and I think in 10 years I've had maybe 2 clients that we really couldn't move them to QBO because they had really customized templates that were required by some of the vendors that they were using. So they had to have certain things on the templates that we just couldn't put on QBO. But in the last couple of years, I really haven't had that big of a deal. It's more like once I tell them, I warn, I let them know before we move them from desktop to QBO, and I say, hey, just so you know, I see that you have some customized templates in here, but you're not going to be able to have that if you move to QBO. And they say, oh, that's fine. But a lot of times once they get there, they kind of, I don't think they realize, and so it's just kind of a bummer for them, but they just deal with it. So it hasn't really been that too big of an issue.
Cool. Good to know. Now, Dawn, your second desktop, well, technically, wait, you've had 2. Stacy, you get a QBO one because you just did DTX. Dawn's done labor costing and form customization. So you get a QBO versus desktop one.
So the other one that I was going to say, and this is just a little one that I really, really like, is the fact that just the automation. And specifically for me, we do flat fee billing. We do our base plus billing, so it's kind of a la carte billing for our clients that we do monthly services for. Once we get it set up, we have them sign the engagement letter. We have them sign the credit card authorization form. We enter all of their information into QBO, put in the credit card information in their customer record. We create a sales receipt, and we have a recurring sales receipt that goes out, hits their credit card the first of every month, and that's all I do with their billing until we, at the end of the year, then we review the services that we're doing. So we do usually an annual review, unless something comes up and we need to review it for whatever reason. Maybe sometimes there's a little scope creep or the client has questions. But I just kind of like what's that guy on TV with the dehydrator and the rehydrator, the Ronco guy? I set it and forget it. I don't have to deal with it at all. And so the other thing is that when we're doing project and we're tracking time, so maybe we're doing a cleanup and we need to track time for it, because a lot of times 90% of the time we don't do a flat fee cost to do a cleanup. We do it hourly because that's a rabbit hole and you never know what you're going to find sometimes. So we have the engagement letter and the credit card authorization, and those clearly state that we are going to bill them for our time each week. I have QuickBooks set up so that if Shannon and I put in our time, QuickBooks Online automatically creates the invoice and sends it out on every Friday for whatever time that we have unbilled in there.
Oh, you mean like for any unbilled activity, you guys set that up? So you do it that way. Oh, that's really good.
And so we send it out.
Transaction automation, really. Transaction automation.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so we set it up so it goes out on Friday, and then the client has until Tuesday, or actually, if we don't hear back from them with any questions or any like disputes on the time or anything of the invoice, then it's again in our engagement letter and in our credit card authorization form that their card on file gets billed for that payment. And the other thing too that I really like is the IP. Well, and this kind of all ties together because it's sort of the automation of it.
Try to tie everything together.
Yep.
Because
Well,
it's payments. It's all payments. And
but
it's
desktop
how
does
you're
that
doing
too.
billing.
Desktop does the recurring charges too, though.
But here's the deal with the recurring transactions. QBO automatically, I don't have to push it out. It automatically gets emailed to the client. I get a
no,
copy.
right? Yeah, the auto sending.
I don't
Right,
have to
auto
do
send.
anything.
I would
Auto
never
send.
send
Auto
it.
send. Yeah, auto send transactions and reports is unique to QBO. That stuff, picking up any unbilled activity, also not something a desktop can do. But to be fair, desktop does the recurring charges. But yes, those two things are key. Don, a retort in a desktop versus QBO?
Well, I would just say that I would never auto send invoices, but that's just my.
Well,
that's
why?
But we make sure, like, we don't just willy-nilly let QuickBooks do it. I go in and review all the time and make sure that it's correct. And then I know that at the end of the day, like later, I know that it's going to go out and it's accurate. So it's not like I'm just, like, entering the time in. We're not just willy-nilly just putting the time in and then letting that happen. We review all the time and any of the expenses, anything that's unbilled, so I know what's going out. And if I have to make any changes, I can make any changes before the invoices get sent out. Because they go out, like, late Friday, I think, like Friday night or something.
I would just say that for me, to create the invoice and review it and then send it is really not much different. That's all I would say. I'm not saying it's...
And that's fine. And I don't actually do the billing. I just look at the time and make sure that the time and the expenses are right. That's what I'm looking at. And that's why you and I are the same but different.
All right, Don, you're up.
Oh, my turn. Okay, well, so here's a pet peeve one, is simplicity of printing checks from QuickBooks Desktop versus... like, there's no lining up, there's no complaints about printing checks in QuickBooks Desktop. Let me put it to that. It sounds stupid, and I have people who have to still print checks. And I'm somebody, I don't remember the last time I printed a check, but I have attorneys and other people who still print and mail checks, and that, to me, once again, I'll pull out the scissors. Only because it's complicated to, you know what I mean, to line it up.
Right, and I don't think I've ever experienced the pain that you have, and I apologize for that.
You don't have to apologize.
I feel badly. I mean, I don't personally. Like, I just feel bad that you suffer, and I don't like to see my best friend suffer.
It's easier in the desktop is my only point.
Simplicity of printing checks. Yeah, I can't argue there because I see that on the forums all the time.
But, I have to tell you about a glitch, Woody, and maybe you know, in QuickBooks 2014
Okay.
for printing checks in desktop.
Okay.
When you go into, I would demo it, but I wasn't prepared for it. Maybe not next week, but the week after I can demo for you.
And you probably don't have your webcam set up.
Yeah, I'm not logged in or anything. But here, this is really great. So, well, it's not great because it happens, but for those of you using desktop for 2014, if you go into the register, just the register, hit T to print, put in your vendor, your information, split to do, job costing or classing, whatever. And then you go to, and you maybe enter like 5 of them. And then you go to File, Print Checks, and the checks are all listed. If you go into the write checks, and hit the T, and it says to print right on the face of that write checks, okay, and you enter 5 of them and you go to the print queue, they're not there.
Yeah, I've heard about that one.
It is a fact.
I have heard about it.
Because my client was like, this is what happened, blah, 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 and I'm like, no!
So what release are they on? Are they still on an older release, or are they at R7?
Well, I think, or I don't know.
What year QuickBooks?
It's 2014.
All right, so try to get them on R7. That was, by the way.
I'll test that before we come next time because...
I forgot to mention that you're going to want to install R7 if you installed R6. some intermittent issues from R6. So I'm just telling in general, if someone's on 14 Pro Premier Enterprise and they have R6, definitely download and install R7. So.
And just so people know too, if you what you need to do if you're in the right checks window, you have to hit print later checkbox, and then they do appear.
Okay.
But you can't use the old-fashioned T to print. That's where the problem. That's where the little miscommunication happens.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. I mean, I do not print checks out of QuickBooks at all any time during the day, so I would not have known that.
Yeah, so it's good stuff.
But I think I heard something
I would
about
have
it.
known it either.
So simplicity of printing checks, very good. Stacy, a retort,
Yes.
and then QBO versus desktop.
So I will say yes, it can be a pain point, but to me, it's just like doing like 1099s on the desktop. You still have to align it. It's the same thing when I go either one. I mean, you still.
Really?
Yeah, don't you have to? I think I remember having to align. Well, maybe it was my printer.
Don't even bring up 1099s. Don't even bring them up. Be on my list. Wait a minute.
Why? You can do 1099s in QBO.
Only if the QBO file is participating.
Only if what?
QBO file is participating.
I've never had a problem. I'm like must be like a unicorn. I'm telling you right now because
QBO unicorn.
You haven't seen my QBO unicorn? Do you guys want to see my QBO unicorn?
Share it out.
I'm just letting because that's funny.
I'm gonna show you the QBO unicorn that I made. I'm gonna share my desktop out, so you guys can see it. So hang on, I'm gonna show you my QBO unicorn. There we go. That is my QuickBooks Online unicorn. So, or just my QuickBooks unicorn. So, because I used to call myself a unicorn a lot of times because I was the only pro advisor that I knew that like actively was using it to run my practice and was recommending it to my clients. So that's my unicorn.
That's really cool.
I love my QuickBooks unicorn. So anyway, I haven't had those problems. So I don't think that and for me, just doing that alignment, it's never really taken that much time. So to me, it's just never
I have a question.
been that big of an issue.
Do you have clients with multiple bank accounts?
Yes.
Who print checks with two separate checks? Two different accounts, two different, like a purple one and a yellow
Actually, yeah, I have an attorney who does.
So that's actually the attorney that I'm talking about is the one who can't, she aligns one and then goes to print out of a different one and has to realign again. And it doesn't line up. And
I don't print their checks, they do it in-house, so I don't know, and they've never brought it up to us that they've had problems, so I haven't heard that, and I'm sure he would have mentioned it.
We'll put that under the simplicity of printing checks. I still think desktop wins there. That's great. But Stacy, so you guys are Don 3, you 2, because this is your turn. QBO advantage over desktop that you like and find impactful daily for you and your clients?
Wait, say that again?
A QuickBooks Online advantage over desktop that you find most impactful for you and your clients daily.
Daily.
Well, they don't have to be on the list. It could just be something cool that, like, you guys notice every day is something really cool, and why you like QBO.
So one of the things that my clients really like right now is the bookmarking. I have a client who just moved from old QBO, classic QBO, to the new QBO about a month ago, and there was something about the income list. He couldn't sort it by date anymore, and I had never noticed that. And so I said, well, instead of doing that, why don't we do this? And so we were on the phone, and I said, go here and do this, and we were kind of like customizing a report together, and then I said, go ahead and bookmark it. And he bookmarked it, and so now he was like, oh, this is actually a lot easier than going into the income list. So he liked
the top
that.
icon bar, you mean?
Yeah, because he's using Chrome, so he just put it. Yeah, he just put it.
All that would count. I mean, that's not something you're going to do. Well, Don, we'll let Don talk about the open window list, but I would agree, we can include Chrome cool functionality in this debate because you're not opening QuickBooks Desktop in Chrome. So that's fair.
Right. So I would say like the everyday, day-to-day stuff would be bookmarking, and then can I do two?
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
so,
if they're related.
Well, no, they're just cool everyday things. They're not really related.
Moderator, really. I don't really.
So I'll wait.
Enforce rules. Per se.
I can wait for my next turn then to bring up the next one that I like, and it's
to be
kind
fair.
of
But just keep the list, because even though we have a list, and I think most people have access to this list on the tips section of the QB Show website, you can download this same advantages of desktop over QBO and vice versa list. But I think this is going in a better direction because it's about stuff that you guys run into daily as to why you historically choose one over the other, as opposed to just some running list that everybody pretty much agrees on. I find this a lot more impactful for me, listening to what exactly are the things that you guys run into daily, not just some kind of list we have. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I agree.
Like QBO doesn't have sales orders, but who really cares? I mean, not a lot of Don's clients care about that, and yours don't either. So, and then you can just say, well, apps are included, so SOS, or Exact Online. So this is way cooler, like labor costing, form customization, simplicity of printing checks. Those are like everyday stuff. Desktop. Online banking, transaction automation, and the ability to auto-send, because desktop has memorized transactions too. I mean the ability to create transactions against unbilled activity. And bookmarking using the Chrome. Those things are cool and real.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, that's what I'm saying.
All right, so I'll be banned. I probably won't see anyone at QB Connect because I'll be discontinued.
No.
Last year's bathing suit. That's what I would compare myself to. But one of the things that I find, again, as a practitioner using the two, which I use both every day. Well, I probably don't use QBO every day, but I have I probably have 25 clients on QBO. So I use it enough.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't
more than many.
Yeah. But so here's one of the things. When I log on to the hosting for QuickBooks Desktop, when I log in and I have my list of all the clients, they're always all there when I log into that one login. So one of my challenges with QuickBooks QBOA are realms, and depending on what app you log into and what login you use, or I use QBO.intuit.com instead of QBOA because QBOA I have two realms and then not everybody shows up, and that part's very frustrating on a daily basis. So I love the fact that with hosting with the desktop, I know right where all my folders are, where all my clients are, and it's the same one spot to go.
No, I understand. That is good. Realms, do I go through QBOA? I know a lot of people that just go through QBO, but as the accountant user, because right now they're just, they're not doing a lot of stuff in QBOA. They still have a little bit of a list, and I can still get all my tools as the accountant user. I don't have to start the file from QBOA. So there's some things in QBOA, but you don't have to go there, and that's just a tangent. Office.intuit.com, but just be the accountant user however you go in. That's not here nor there. Total tangent. Please just be that. I don't care how you go in. Just be the accountant user. But that is true, Don. You can always count on what you're going to get or what you're going to see. I don't know how I'd say that. Maybe it's just like consistency of realm behavior. I don't know what that is, because QuickBooks doesn't really have a realm per se.
I would call it from a full conglomeration of that functionality of you go and there they are, and it's it's not something you have to struggle with, and like when you go to log in you can just go do it and you don't have to really think. And when you're
Stacy
with 70, anywhere from 70 to 80 QuickBooks files,
right.
It can be over time.
So we'll say managing all your QBO clients versus your desktop clients. But Stacy, you must have a good retort to that because you probably don't run into that as much.
Oh, right. issues?
Right. Well, realm issues, but just managing your clients via QBO versus the consistency and ease of the desktop.
No, and I don't think I've ever had, because I have two different QBOA accounts, one for the clients that I manage, and then we have a separate one for the ones that Shannon manages, because I don't want her to have access to all the clients, so we have a separate, like a separate account set up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can log in and they're always there. Again, I have realm issues, but my realm issues are I can't log in. Like I have different Chrome users, and I have one like called Original Stacy, and then I have like Stacy number 2, Stacy number 3.
That's sad. It's so sad.
And the reason why I have those is because
I just want to do accounting.
I have to use Original Stacy for IOP. I can't get into QBOA or QBO at all with it. Because I don't want to delete. I tried some of the cookie stuff and the like history stuff, and it doesn't work. And so I have Stacy number 2 to log into QBOA, regardless of whether it's our demo account that we have set up, Woody, or whether it's mine or whether it's the one that Shannon uses. And then I also have Stacy number 3. And that's the only way that I can log into QBO as for my own company.
Realm stuff's tough. It affects everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff. I understand that. But assuming that you're not having a realm issue, which is kind of maybe an underlying thing, and that's almost outside of this box of a debate, because when I go into QBO as the account user, I always see the same list, and I know when I click on my file, assuming it hasn't been suspended or their credit card's gone or whatever like that, it opens up and I'm easily able to find stuff, and that whole goes back to the top icon bar. That works with every single one of my QBO files, and I think you have to be careful about having a unique Chrome user for QBO only that doesn't interact with anything else you do. Maybe you have a couple of them, QBO and QBOA, but I would assume someone using QBO, they're going to have a consistent experience, assuming realm issues aside.
Yeah, end users are not going to have that problem because they're just going to have one login and they're going to live their life.
For the most part, right. For the most part. They'll have other just overall problems. And I don't mean I don't think they're QBO-related problems. I think it's just more like, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
No, it doesn't even have to do with
right, you can't, yeah. User error is user error, and I know because I suffer from it too, but
I totally.
You mean desktop or QBO, you're going to have user error.
Absolutely. That would be probably the one thing that they have extremely in common is their user error. Right?
And again, when I say those things, even though we kind of laugh and it's fun, and I think most accountants will laugh and it's fun because it resonates with everybody. I don't mean that in a bad way towards a small business owner who really would rather not spend time in QBO or desktop. They want to go sell their stuff. They want to manage their employees, right? I get that. They don't have time to hang out and do all this stuff that, consultants would.
Yeah, they don't.
That's not, I don't say it in a bad way.
No, and that's why they come to us, is because they don't want to do that. I mean,
sure.
We just picked up a plumbing company, and that was exactly why. He's like, I can't keep taking 5 or 6 hours every Sunday to get my books caught up. He just had a 4th kid. I think he delivers the babies at home. Whatever. I mean, he's a super nice guy. I wouldn't want to do that, but that's what they do. They do all these homeworks and stuff, and so he's got like 4 kids, and they just had the 4th one or the 5th one, I can't remember, but he's like, I don't have time for this anymore, and he's just like, I need to get my Sundays back so I can spend that time with my family, and so I don't think it's a bad thing to say. They don't want to be doing it. I think it's true.
Speaking of having a 5th child, you guys hear the joke about what it's like to have a 5th kid?
I don't know.
It's like you're drowning and someone throws you a baby.
That's funny.
It's not mine. It's just hilarious.
But I love it. I love.
That's so funny.
I have a buddy at Big Time who had his 5th child, and he was asking about Abby, so I asked him how his 5th was, and he's like, well, and he told me that joke, and it's not even his, he got it from someone else, but it's just hysterical, man. It's a great way to say it. Okay.
So, can I just say a suggestion that maybe SmartVault will hear and Intuit will hear? Because I read one of the things. Oh, is it my turn? Because it's actually.
Yeah. Well, no, you had managing client files consistently.
Oh,
it's now
okay.
Stacy's.
All right. I'll make a note.
Although, you know, again, realm issues aside, I'm sure Stacy sees the same thing she usually sees when she's in a Stacy 3 and Stacy 2.
Yeah.
But the fact that she has to create those two is sad. So I'm leaving that as you know, in the desktop column. Stacy, you would be you now. QBO versus.
I'm gonna go with. Are we talking like day-to-day stuff that we see, or are we talking
There's
like
just something that's impactful that you think that really matters and really makes QBO. It can either be something you love every day, or it could be something on our list that you just think is where it way outweighs desktop.
So there's two that I want to bring up, and one of them, I'm only going to do one right now if you let me finish. Boy, oh boy, getting bossy.
Just picking up where Woody put down.
I know. I know. So I like the fact that it integrates with Gmail because I run my business from Gmail. And I use Google Apps, so I use Google Calendar, I use Google Drive. And usually I have emailed and I have had some sort of conversation via email with clients, so that when it gets to the point where we need to go ahead and create any kind of estimates or invoices or anything like that, I can just connect, my QBO is connected to my Gmail, and I can just pull something from there, and it's there. And I don't have to enter some of that information in. So that's one of my just everyday things that I personally like.
Wait, how would you explain that one? Is that the just being able to access anywhere?
Yeah, so like if I go to enter in a new, let's say I'm going to do an invoice for like a quick review or something, and it's like obviously a new client because we don't do quick reviews for anybody that's not a new client or that we've worked with for a long time. So we do a quick review, and I go to create an invoice. I can connect it to Gmail, and I can pull the email and the name from my Gmail. It's very, very simple. And so then a lot of times that's really all I need to have in there, just to get the process, or the process. I'm going to go Canadian and say the process started. And then I can go in later maybe and enter in the address or anything like that I need. So like
bringing in customer info, got it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It connects with Gmail, and I can pull that information in very easily without any third-party application.
Don?
Unfortunately, that limits people who don't use Gmail.
Right, it does. But there's a lot of people who run their business. I know Bryce Forney does. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, Gmail's real popular.
And I know Seth David uses. I know that there's a lot of people that run their businesses with Google Apps and Gmail. So, but that is for me. I just like that.
That's cool. All right.
Fine.
Don?
So, I guess this one for me, again, this is just the Dawn Brolin opinion, which is what it is. Again, I don't know, I'll be here and maybe Stacy will text me about how the conference is going. So one of my, I would say it's more of a concern. So my staff is not allowed to email any reports that might have actual financial information on them to clients.
Oh.
So the automation of reports being sent by email concerns me. But what I think would be like a killer would be either Stacy's point about the Google Docs, which is cool, would be maybe, and I don't use it, so I don't really know how it would work with clients, but maybe it would. But using SmartVault, where that automated report, I would love it if QBO would do automated reports that would go directly into a SmartVault folder, because SmartVault is connected to QBO.
Right.
It's connected to desktop, but that's not something that's going to happen. But it could happen with QBO, where those reports are auto-generated and stuck into a specific folder that's, I don't know how these people do this stuff, but that report automation would be killer if it was safer. So I don't know if the automated reports have passwords that you can put on, like, so the automation, or the alternative would be
Not at this point.
automated
Yeah.
with
No.
passwords. You would put
No,
one
I understand that.
thing if
I've
they
heard that
did,
before. Yeah.
I would think that would be a killer. It would be awesome. They did a report automation with either a password that you set as part of a preference, or if it was an auto generation selection. And I think that's
actually a really good idea, is to encrypt them or do something within the product, or maybe email them, but when you set up that automation, you can set it up so that it dumps it into Smart Vault, or it dumps it into whatever secure online storage that you happen to be using. I think that's actually that's a really good idea. But
No, that's awesome.
But and also I know that to counter this, you can't send, when you send a report from QuickBooks Online, not that it matters too much for you because you don't want them sent from the product at all anyway. But you can't, unless you memorize it and you set up an email schedule in the group, you can't send it as an Excel file. So at least when you do send it, it's a uneditable PDF file.
or HTML. So right, it's static.
Yeah.
Well, right there. Well, there is a checkbox if you want to send it as Excel.
Yeah, but that's the only place. But I won't even do that. We don't ever send reports as Excel files. I tell the clients if they want to download it and do whatever they can, they have access and they can log in and do that. But we don't ever send reports as PDF.
I mean Excel.
I mean Excel. Nice. Yeah. What you said. Thanks. See, cool. I need a handler. I need an adult chaperone.
Yeah.
So nice. That would just be. It wasn't really a QBO versus desktop issue because QuickBooks Desktop doesn't do that. So it's not even about that.
So it's like you didn't know desktop had a security measure that you didn't even know about.
Which
it can't auto send reports.
You can't, and the fact that you can just email them. I mean, you can do it with QBO too, but anyway, that's one of my for my firm. And the clients, I've had clients, that's how I've always gotten them from, the former accountant. And I was like, it's not going to happen with me. You can go somewhere else. You think I'm going to risk someone grabbing your balance sheet and get it for that? Not happening.
Right.
Never
That's
happening.
good. That's good.
So, but anyway.
Good.
Does that count? Because it was really a
Yeah, I just put it as like, security in that there is no auto report sending.
Yep.
Because at Scaling New Heights, accountant from North Carolina came up and said, because I was showing a lot of the automation features on that Tuesday night, remember? It was like a 2-hour just barrage of these 4 kiosks. And I was showing all those things. And she had made a point, well, I can't do the auto send report because in North Carolina for CPAs, et cetera, et cetera. So then I was like, oh, good point. All right, Stacy, QBO versus desktop.
Yeah. How much time do we have?
We got 7 minutes.
All right, you ready for mine? And I'm going to quote Dawn Brolin on this.
All right.
She calls me one night a couple years ago, and she says, I think I broke it.
Oh, yes. This is a good one.
And I said, you broke what?
Good one.
And she said, I think I broke QuickBooks Online. And I said, well, you can't break QuickBooks Online. What the hell are you talking about? And she said, I was doing some adjustments for one of my clients, and I did a journal entry, and just to see what would happen, she put in more than one AR and AP line. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think she put in a couple AR and a couple AP. She tried to do all of the journal entries at one time, and then she says, and it took it, and it's right. And she said, why is it doing that? And I said, because that's how QuickBooks Online works. You can have multiple AR and or AP lines in one journal entry. So instead of having to do 10 separate journal entries to adjust 10 receivable accounts, you can do one in QBO.
Yep, that's good stuff.
That's sweet for accountants. I mean, come on. You guys are doing journal entries.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
You're sipping wine coolers, you're doing journal entries, and you're sipping even more wine coolers in QBO.
You know what? If we're
you
going
know
to
more
sip
than one
wine
ARAP.
coolers,
Yep.
if we're going to sip wine coolers, I want them to be the 2-liter. Do you remember the 2-liter of Sun Country wine coolers that they used to
I'm
have?
not sipping wine coolers.
I never would either, but if I'm going to, it's going to be out of a big, giant 2-liter. They don't make them anymore, but do you remember them? Does anybody remember them? No? No? Okay.
No,
If somebody's watching this after the fact and you remember 2 liters of Sun Country wine cooler, please put a comment on our YouTube page. So to just confirm how awesome they were, and granted, I may have been not legal, but I knew that they existed.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I drank them, but I do know that they existed. Okay.
Okay, so Stacey, that was actually a really
All right, Don,
good.
you're up. I think, Don, you're closing it. Desktop.
So this one's very important to me.
Oh.
And this only because this could be a user error thing, but it's just my thing.
Okay.
The icon bar. So
The top icon bar?
Top icon bar on the desktop. Yeah, not that whatever that thing is to the left. That is not.
Right.
That is technically called the left nav bar.
You don't need to choose that. All right. So
I'm talking about the desktop.
about the top? What about the top?
So the top icon bar. Number one, it's like memorized reports in desktop. I wish the desktop would not have any memorized reports in the list. That almost takes away my soul. And I would say if I was going to compare desktop to QBO, QBO does not have, under My Reports, a whole big list of the same ones you can get other places, which we won't go into reports. But I would say QBO is better because they don't come with My Reports, which is what memorized reports really should be. But in the desktop, the icon bar should also come up with just like the home icon and nothing else, so you could customize it. Every client, when I have my user, which everyone should have their own user, right? Just like QBO, anything else. The icon bar, I believe, will cause you to click less in the desktop than in QBO. And so,
Woody, you're going to do a screen share, and we may go over a couple minutes so you can show her that this can be done in QBO.
This is how.
This
is how I'm now doing it. You guys seeing it? Let me know. So, this is the big thing. You can, using Chrome, and other web browsers will allow you to do this too. They all have this bookmarks bar, and that goes back to creating your own QBO user so that it doesn't have all this other crap. Because, my other thing is all like here with all these bookmarks and stuff, right? But, and then just show the bookmarks bar in Chrome, and it was blank, and then I can add, home. Well, I would just leave home where it is, and I would leave customers and vendors where it is because everybody knows that. But I might put like registers up there, print checks up there, banking up there, and I might put like reconcile up there, and budget, and preferences, and chart of accounts, and maybe just like a bill, and I can go to a bill and I click on a bill and it opens up a bill, no matter what file I'm in. So this workaround came about because of people struggling going from desktop down, and they were used to the top icon bar there and being able to customize it for them, and it is customizable by user. It's by the web browser I'm in on my machine. Stacy's not going to have the same icons. So it's literally what you're talking about, but in QBO, you can exactly do that, and you're only one click away from anything.
The end of the show, that totally busts out the desktop.
And I just want to show...
It just equates them, at least for that.
I want to show, and I think that's a great way to do it for if you set it up for your client. But I'm going to screen share because I'm going to show the way I do it as an accounting professional who has different clients and has different tasks for maybe each client. Like maybe I have one client.
My reports, right?
So I'm going to show you something, and I'll go in and I'll create one. I'm gonna screen share. So I'm logged in here to QuickBooks, right? So you can see I have a folder in my bookmark. And so there's a couple, like these would be the two things for that client. Now, maybe this isn't client A that I'm in, this is client B, and really what I'm doing here is I need to go to, you know, maybe deal with a different bank account for whatever reason it is. There's nothing here, but maybe I need to go to their bank register, right? So I'm going to set up bank register. And so for whatever reason, this is one of the tasks that I have to do for this client. And so I can go in here to my bookmarks, and I can choose another folder, but maybe I need to make a new folder because this is client B. So I'm going to save it there. So if I'm in client A, I have Amex and I have a year-to-date P&L by month. But I'm in client B, so now I can go here and I can even edit this. And if I go to my bookmark manager here, and I've got this link in here, if I want, I can edit this and rename it and call this check register. Right? So now when I'm in that client, I can, if I'm here in the customer and I say, oh, you know what, I need to go check the check register, I can just go right here. So I have folders set up on my bookmarks bar in Chrome that correspond to what clients I'm doing. And this makes it really easy because I can set it up with a really generic Chrome user, and so I can give that login to that Chrome user to Shannon or Katie or you. If something happened, like when I was in the hospital and maybe you needed to do, you were like, hey Stacy, I'll take care of this client for you. I could have just given you the login for this specific Chrome user, and you could have logged into Chrome and had these bookmarks, and as long as you knew the passwords to get into my QBOA or my QBO, you would have had access to these documents, and you would have said, or these bookmarks, and you would have said, oh, client A, I need to go deal with Amex transactions, and then I need to go send them a year-to-date P&L. Oh, client B, I need to go review the check register. So you can share this out with whoever you need to as long as they have access to those QBO subscriptions. So that solves your icon problem.
Very cool.
That's nice. Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. So, you know, we'll share that document that we have because, you know, there's obviously desktop has a longer list. But what I like about tonight is that we kind of, you guys just out on 4 things that you like each platform better that you actually get to see every day that, you know, just wouldn't be in the normal thing of maybe thinking when you're differentiate them at a high level. So I thought that was very helpful. You know, we'd like to thank our sponsors, of course, Unidata,
yep.
Zencash, Exact Online, T-Sheets, and oh, I'm forgetting one. What's the other one I'm forgetting?
I didn't hear which ones you mentioned.
Well, Unidata, of course, QuickBooks, Microsoft Office hosting, T-Sheets with online time tracking,
Zencash, Exact Online,
Unidata, Exact Online, and Unidata, Exact Online, manufacturing wholesale add-ons. So they all hook up with desktop and QBO, and well, Unidata is its own platform. So
yeah,
very cool. So we'd like to thank those guys for still sponsoring the show. And Don, Stacy, how do you guys feel? Was this fun?
I think we need to do a part 2.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I know you guys are both going to be gone next week, and we have a special guest coming up, unless I decide just to take the night off too, like you part-timers.
Right.
But no, you guys are going on vacation. You guys are going on vacation. I'm just kidding. I'll be on my own vacation in August, so don't worry about it. I'm just teasing.
You have your own vacations right up here.
I do. I have my own little vacations.
Awesome.
So I think we should do a part 2 in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Just me.
Let's do that. July 22nd.
Yeah, that was cool. Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well,
Whichever.
thanks everyone for watching the show and viewing it over the next week. Hopefully it's helpful. I'm going to share this with some of the sales teams because I think it gives a different perspective. And yeah, that's about it. We'll have fun next week, and we'll talk to you guys on July 22nd.
Right on.
Yeah,
All right.
peace out.
Take care.
Throw away thumb drives, no attachments. Get the files anywhere when you're permitted access. What's the matter? Frustrated with the hassle? Jump up in the cloud and join us in the castle.
We're high up in the clouds and we're never coming down. So get up, get up, get up, get up in the cloud. High up in the cloud and we're never coming down. So get up, get up, get up, get up in the cloud.
Throw away thumb drives, no attachments. Get the files anywhere when you're permitted access. What's the matter? Frustrated with the hassle? Jump up in the cloud and join us in the castle.
We're high up in the clouds and we're never coming down.